Well, Vic, I think, dads, the performance of dads really is a reflection of where our society is. And that's a major challenge at the moment, given the statistics that come out in terms of where dads are and the amount of single parenting that's there. So yeah, it's a challenge from a South African perspective. It's also a challenge from a continental perspective, and even greater from a global perspective. So
now,
those are the issues.
You mentioned the stats, and from that we gather there are a lot of absent dads. I mean, there's no getting away from that. Why is that the case here?
I think it's reflective of what we receive from the previous generation. You've got a lot of issues being migrant dads or migrant environments, and we tend to kind of default to what happened to us unless there's some form of intervention that we're able to induce in that process where we can change the fathering portfolio. So,
fathering portfolio, I like that.
I've tried to unpack quite a lot in a very short space of time. And so let's talk really in and around the intervention. Having coined the frame that talks about this whole issue of lack of fathering being the whole, social malaise, so to speak. People must be asking in their mind, so what is the intervention? I believe it's not rocket science stuff. I think we need to bring in about an effective model of effective fathering. And I'm just going to give 7 key pointers that are not original. I've also learned from fathers. I've also learned from authors that bring about the same things. Now, these 7 key components are things that have been researched. I believe, number 1, commitment. Now, commitment is 2 issues. It's the commitment of dedication, where I say I am dedicated and committed to my children's well-being and I'm going to look after them. And then there's also the constraint of that commitment that says I will go out there and I will fend for them, and I'll do what I need to do in order to bring them up in the way that they should go. Not only just providing, but being there in their lives. Not being physically absent, not being, emotionally aloof with them, but coming to their levels and engaging in them so that they feel that there is a presence of a father who's going to help us in how we develop as children into manhood, or as a young daughter into a woman, into becoming a woman. Number 2, I believe we need to be aware. There's got to be an awareness in our portfolio of being an effective father. Someone may ask me, do you know your children? Do you know the favorite colors of your children? What do you know about the world in and around in the school environment? It's important that we know our children in their world. It's important that we're able to get a glimpse of the lens that children see their own environment. We can only know that when we are aware, when we engage, when we get into the space in spending time with them, in understanding what their world is. I have, just to share intimately with you, I try and spend some quality time with both my children. I have a son and I have a daughter. I try and create a dating relationship which has not too many agendas, but allowing their voice to be heard and understanding how they see the world in the context of their age group, in the context of their school environment, in the context of their family environment. So I need to be aware of what's going on in their world. A lot of people are challenged in this environment because they're not aware of what's going on in their children's environment. Sometimes the child may be engaging on potentially what would bring about an illicit way of living. But you're able to nip those things in the bud if you're aware of what's happening in your child's environment. As a dad, I think it's important that we become consistent. We need to be representative of producing things that are regular and that are predictable in our families. Consistency is a major component in the portfolio of a father. You cannot say one thing and do something else. we've got to be consistent. The fourth thing is protecting and providing. I come from a background where that was the portfolio of fathering. As long as my father paid school fees, as long as he provided food on the table, he was considered their man. He was considered the father. He was considered a great dad. However, he wasn't necessarily always there from an emotional perspective. Sometimes he was not present because his job may have taken him away, or he didn't view the intimacy of actually understanding or being aware of my world. However, it's still an important factor on the portfolio of effective fathering, providing a steady income so that we can take care of the needs of the family, modeling consistency of bringing about a good work ethic will invariably rub on our children when they see us consistently going to work or taking on our life's vocation, if you're a pastor or if you're a doctor or whatever. But the consistency of that and being able to bring something back that is able to sustain or bring about the sustenance of family. So, in other words, maybe you're a father that takes you, that takes you away from your children. I want you not to feel guilty about taking that work, but make up for it whenever you can to spend quality time. It's not just quality time, it's also quantity time. Remember, love is spelled time. The fifth thing that I want to bring about is the love for your wife or the mother of your children. If there's one great thing that you can do for your children, is to love your wife. It has a massive impact on your children. Your children will carry that into their adulthood. They will remember that. And under pressure, when they are in their marriages, they will remember what dad did or the love that was exhibited for their mother. It's a sense of security when children know that their father loves their mother. Or even if they're separated, it's a sense of security that the father has respect for the mother of his children. Because the mother portfolio has a different dimension, and a dimension of nurturing children. And it's important that a man is able to respect that. The sixth thing that I want to bring about is active listening. It's important that children, it's important that fathers in particular are able to listen to their children. Research shows that active listening is an important component for creativity. My ability to consistently listen to you as you speak enhances creativity in your life. Sometimes we've lost on the best ideas in life because we keep interrupting. And it's so easy to interrupt children because sometimes their speech is rather slow and we want to finish the words for them. And so we lose out on their creativity. It's the ability to face them, to look at, gaze your eyes into their eyes, create a focus that you've shut everything else, but you can only hear the sound and the heart of your child speaking to you. It takes practice, it takes skill, and it takes time. So it's an intervention that we need to consistently learn. Maybe with time further down, we'll be able to unpack some of the techniques that we can use in our active listening traits. The last but not the least one is, again, spiritual and moral equipping. This is primarily the responsibility of parents. This is ideal for the father to be the leader in spiritually and morally equipping your children. For a Christian, it's important that you're able to pray with your family, but pray with your children. Pray for them. Let them hear you praying to the God that created you. Let them hear you, let them see and understand how important it is. It can't be just mumbled over 2 minutes. Oh, I pray in my bedroom. They should know that. They need to see that. They need you to hold their hands as you take them to church and drop them off at children's church, or you go into the main auditorium with everybody else. They need to know that there's an important factor that helps them and leads them in the relationship that they will have with their Creator. Just having packed the 7 secrets of or briefly rather, just gleaning on through the 7 secrets of effective fathering, I want to encourage dads that they can succeed. I'm saying to dads, take your place as head of the family. Make a decision to that commitment. And remember, God has given you that authority. You're not asking for the authority, but however, God has given you the authority. Use it wisely. Whilst it's an authority, there is the interesting and exciting parts of that authority as being a head of the family. Maybe in your family you get to be served first. Maybe you get the best seat in the lounge when you're watching television. However, it also goes on with the impact of responsibility. When you have to wake up late at night because one of your family members is not feeling well, or maybe one of them is not doing so well in life, and you've got to man up and go to that school and listen to the lack of progress report maybe your child is going through. But you're going to say you're going to be there. The second thing that's important for dads to succeed is you need to trust God. Trust God for His grace as your father. There are many, many opportunities to be discouraged. There are many opportunities to feel this ain't working. And whoever called me to dad, and why am I a dad? But it's important that you stick with it. I want to say to those that are continuously sticking with that portfolio, that they continue to exhibit courage, commitment, and walking in God's grace. It's also important that that portfolio needs the mercies of God. The Bible talks about the mercies of God that are new every morning. I know fathers who are at the verge of tearing out their hair because they feel this portfolio is not for them. But I want to say to you now, you're designed for that. You're designed to receive the mercies of God even in those trying times. And that you're well capable to rise beyond the occasion and above the occasion and still stick with that portfolio. So I say to you, grace for now and grace for the future. Keep going on with that portfolio.